Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, in the past, I have discussed getting replicas. I have replicas. You've seen my replicas. I use them sometimes for my top 10 list just because either I don't want to have $30,000 worth of notes in my house or I don't actually own the note that I'm talking about. It's cool to get the replicas if you can't afford the real thing. Obviously, you want the real thing. But if you can't get the real thing, getting replicas is the next best thing. It still gives you an image of the note so you know what you're looking for. You've got a spot filler, essentially. And it just makes everything look a little cleaner. The thing is, you can take replicas a step further. And what I mean is, at some of the big national shows, they pass out souvenir cards each year for their particular show, and these souvenir cards are generally extremely nice replicas of a particular note, and they do it on like an 8x10 or 11 or 9x12 or whatever on a nice board, and it's suitable for framing. And I'll show you what I'm talking about more, but you can find these on eBay. And if you're thinking about a particular note, see if you can't find one of these souvenir cards, because like I said, it is suitable for framing, and it does give you a much nicer image of the particular note. All right, I'll get to that after the hunt here. I've got my 1,000 singles. Let's get these out of the way. Yep, we're going back to old school with these. What did I find this week? Starting with a trinary, 0s, 2s, and 9s. Another trinary, 2s, 7s, and 9s. 1s, 2s, and 4s on this one. 1s, 2s, and 3s here. I've seen 1s, 2s, and 3s on quite a few trinaries, so I must be getting close to matching. I'll be checking those real soon. My box is almost full. 1s, 8s, and 0s. This is 3s, 4s, and 6s. 1s, 5s, and 6s. Just that lone 6 right there, so close to a binary. 2006 as well. Another 2006. This one is 6s, 8s, and 9s. And 0s, 1s, and 2s on this one. I was looking, whenever you see the two twos, or whenever you see a double digit in the center like that, the first thing you should be thinking is radar, because if you read the note from front to back and back to front, these two digits would be the same. So that's kind of your first clue when you're searching for radars. So when you spot the double digits in the center, take a second look. So this one, when I saw it, got me because I saw the double digits. Immediately I saw the niceness of the note. It's in really good shape. But as I started to branch out a little bit, no, not exactly. Now, some of you would call this a birthday note or an anniversary note. It would be January 2nd, 2102, but we're still 79 years away from that date, so I'm not going to hold that one for that reason. But it is a trinary, so I will hold that. And then I've got some quads. This one starts off with quad zeros. It has a fifth there. Now, when you find quad zeros as the leading edge, that implies a low number. This particular one would be number 6,580. So that is a fairly low number, but to be a true low number, you want that to be a 3-digit number. So if it started with 5 zeros, then this would be 580. That would be a true low number. I don't find true low numbers very often. In fact, I don't think I've ever found a true low number in circulation, so those are tough to get. All right, quad zeros at the end. And I've got quad 8s to start. It's also a trinary, 8s, 5s, and 0s. And it's neat because you've got the 0s together, the 5s together, and the 8s together. I did find stars. This one's fairly crisp, and it does have the wet ink transfer that you see on a lot of new notes lately. I don't know if they've just been getting sloppy or what, but you're going to see that on a lot of notes. So that's not even rare to find the wet ink transfer. And when I say that, if you look real close, what you are talking about is the E from 1 on the back. And if I flip this over, watch what ends up right there. See? This really dark portion of the word E, that is the wet ink transfer that we're talking about here. So that, when the bill on top comes down there, all that ink will transfer on there. Sometimes you'll see part of it on this side from the one, and if I flip it on this side, you can see this dark portion here. That's the portion that tends to transfer right about here. So yeah, if it didn't happen on like 20% of the bills, it may have been rare, but it happens so frequently that it's not even worth saving. But I figured I've never brought it up, so what better time than now? Star Note from 2017 and Atlanta Note, really good condition on that one. 2013 Star, 2013 B, potential for this to be one of the double printed notes. Another 2013 B, I'll have to check these. And a third. This one's got great paper, but it's got this huge crease in it, so that kind of sucks. 2013 H, and an older one, 2003 A Star Note. Also, don't forget to check your star notes to see if the stars are filled in, because that's something you don't see too often. Now, I don't usually save notes this old, but this 2006 B was in really nice shape, great paper quality, so I wanted to check it against my binder to see if it upgrades. And this 2003, once again, I don't save 2003s generally speaking, but this one did have, this one's from Philadelphia, and I don't see a whole lot of notes like that. I tend to see a lot of the L's, the G's. I see New York quite a bit, but I don't see Kansas City or Philadelphia or Boston very often. So whenever I see those, I grab them just to check against my book. Then we get to the notes that I actually save. We're at 2001 on this particular one. 1999, pretty rough shape. Rough shape on this 99 as well. Rough shape on this 99. And on this one. 1995, checking to see if it's a web note. No, it is not. Also pretty rough. 1993, that's a scarce note to find. You figure they printed it in 93, and by 95 they already started another one. So, and they were hammering these out too. Look, they got to K in that short period of time, but they just didn't last. They're a tough note to get a hold of, not a web note. And 1988A, first year potential for a web note. This one isn't. Also really rough shape on this one. And then the oldest note I found, this is a 1981. It does have a tear in the top, and it is kind of rough in the bottom. But yeah, you don't see 81s in circulation too often. Unfortunately, it's a G, which is pretty common. So probably won't fill a hole in the book. So that's what I found this week. What did I bring out? Well, like I was saying to start with, you can get these souvenir cards at some of the major shows. And the souvenir card I brought out this week, it's the first one that I ever got. You can see right here, it's on thick paper, okay? So, I mean, very thick paper. And you can see it's the American Banknote Company, established in 1858 in New York City. And this particular one came from the Society of Paper Money Collectors Incorporated, the International Paper Money Convention, Memphis, Tennessee, June 17th through 19th, 1983. So this is not new. This particular card has been out for a while. Now, this particular card features the White Mountain Bank, and it is a replica of a $2 bill. Now, if you look, this obviously hasn't been issued because it's not real, so there are no signatures. They didn't put a date, they didn't put a serial number on there, and it is only one-sided. Now, let me show you the back here. This certifies that the banknote intaglio printing on the face of this document was printed in 1983 by the American Banknote Company, attested by Salvatore F. D'Amato, president of the American Banknote Company. So this is a certified, real intaglio printing. Intaglio printing means that you can feel the printing, okay? If you run your finger across, you can actually feel the engraving. Now, the other thing it says on here is, like I said, this is from the White Mountain Bank, so it does give a brief history of the White Mountain Bank. The history of the White Mountain Bank of Lancaster, New Hampshire mirrors that of many of the private banks which issued currency in the United States during the 19th century. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. The White Mountain Bank, at a glance, you would think this is a national banknote. It is not. This is a replica or an intaglio print of an obsolete banknote. This was prior to national banknotes being a thing. This is kind of what inspired national banknotes to become a thing. Okay. Any bank could print their own currency. The question is, was it actually worth anything? All right, so now let's get back to the info. Chartered in 1850, the bank issued its first notes around 1852. By approximately 1865, the bank was reported as being wound up because it was not in condition to be converted to a national bank. So here's a bank printing money that applied for a charter and did not get the national bank charter. Many varied and beautiful vignettes were used on paper money during this period. The Santa Claus vignette chosen for this note is one of the rare, delightful, and unusual examples of the steel engraver's craft. The Santa vignette? Did you guys notice that? It has Santa with his reindeer in a sleigh on a rooftop next to a chimney. This is the Santa Claus note. Okay. Yes, this was a real note back in the day. This $2 note here, I looked up on eBay to see what one of these goes for, and the Santa Claus note is in the top 100 notes. I forget the exact number, but it is one of the top 100 notes to collect. And this note runs around $5,000, $5,000 to $6,000. So I was not going to fork out $5,000 to $6,000 to do a Christmas video, but I did manage to find this print, this intaglio souvenir card featuring the Santa Claus engraving. And so yeah, when you ever see the Santa Claus note listed, generally that's all they call it. This is what they're talking about, the White Mountain Bank $2 note. All right, guys, if you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. See you next week.